For the past few years, I've had to sit around and watch Mark Hoppus, Travis Barker, and Matt Skiba prance around as if they are the Blink-182 that we all know and love, and I'm sick of it. That's right, this is a rant, people. Actually, I don't care that much, but I do have strong opinions on it, which is weird because most people online don't have very strong opinions about things. Anyway, I'm sick of this new lineup of Blink-182 acting like it's the real deal. People, it's not. This is not the real Blink-182 lineup. No Tom DeLonge, no Blink-182, period. I mean, I would say the same thing if Tom and Travis were out on the road without Mark. I mean, when you only have a trio, when you only have 3 people in the band that make up the classic lineup, and yeah, I know Travis wasn't the original drummer, but no one gives 2 shits about Scott Rayner, their original drummer who sucked ass. Travis Barker was the original drummer as far as I'm concerned. He was the classic drummer during the classic period that everyone knows and likes by Blink-182. As was Tom, as was Mark. But Tom wrote a lot of the material, sang a lot of the material, and now you're cutting half of that out of the equation and adding another guy in who sounds essentially just like Mark Hoppus, so you don't even get that vocal dichotomy that you got with Tom that made listening to Blink-182 that much more interesting. You don't get any of that. So then this California album comes out in like, what, 2017? And it fucking sucked. It was so boring. The lead single was called Bored to Death. That song and album made me bored to death. It was some of the most formulaic, radio-ready, disposable pop punk I had heard in a really long time. And it was coming from a band that is typically known for tailoring these very simple, nursery rhyme-like songs that are very effective and very catchy and stuck with you. These were like, I don't want to say Beatles level, but the simplicity to old Blink-182 songs were so well executed that there was a reason that they became one of the biggest bands of the early 2000s. And that was with the classic lineup of Tom DeLonge, Mark Hoppus, and Travis Barker. And honestly, I like Tom's voice a lot. I mean, I like his singing style. A lot of people kind of like dog on his, his weird kind of Southern California kind of, all the small things. I thought it sounded cool. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I liked Tom's vocals a lot more than Mark's and Travis's. Never heard him sing, but I'm sure Tom sounds better. Angels and Airwaves is the more interesting band than Plus 44 was. I know I'm going off on a tangent here. Let me get back on track. So the sad thing about the California record, besides it being a boring, formulaic mess, was the fact that they needed outside writers to even complete the album. They had like 4 different writers on the album besides the band. There were people coming in to help them write songs like Bored to Death. How hard is it to write a song like that? It is so formulaic sounding. It sounds like every modern rock song that's on the radio. However, if you go back to the last Blink-182 album with Tom DeLonge and their first single, Up All Night, that was like the next logical step, the next logical evolution for Blink-182. It had this kind of bizarre riff at the beginning, and then it came in with Tom singing, and then Mark singing, and it just felt very, I don't know, anthemic, very powerful, very different. Go and listen to it. Go listen to the riff for Up All Night. It's a very interesting way to not only open up an album, but the newest lead single, from Blink-182 at the time. It kind of blew people's minds a little bit. They're like, this is Blink-182? And it's like, yes, because a band needs to evolve. And that's what that song and that's what that album was. It felt like a natural progression. And now they are devolving. And it's unfortunate because I felt like with Tom in the band, he was trying to push Blink-182 outside the parameters of just a pop-punk / modern rock band. There was a logical evolution and growth with Tom's songwriting. And make no mistake, when Tom was in the band, they did not need any outside writers. When you bought a Blink-182 album or streamed it, you got the three guys and the music they were making. You didn't have some kind of industry put together, kind of radio ready, watered down pop punk piece of garbage like California. Now, I'm wrong, because California was Blink-182's second #1 album on the Billboard charts, which again, how? I don't know, because it wasn't good. It was not a good album. It was so just vanilla. It was so bland. The song Bored to Death was their first on the Billboard Top 200 in 12 years. So I'm wrong. I mean, I'm the sales figures don't lie. I am wrong. People liked the album, obviously. But might I suggest that Blink-182 were just coasting off the name Blink-182? Because this sounds, to me, not a whole lot like Blink-182. It didn't sound like the direction they were going in anyway. It sounds like they took a big left turn for commerciality and going not even back to their roots, because it's not even that hard of a punk album. It's just like a modern rock mess. Now I'll make one thing clear. I am not here to white knight for Tom DeLonge. I'm sure he was a pain in the ass when Blink-182 reunited in, 2009? He had his whole To the Stars Academy. He had his side band, Angels and Airwaves. He had clothing companies. He had books that he was writing. He had cartoons. This guy had literally just hundreds of projects going on top of like following around UFOs and trying to discover the truth about aliens. I mean, legit, this guy is probably kind of a wacko to talk to, but that's why he was so, I feel, qualified to be the creative force behind Blink-182, because every psycho, or I should say every creative force, has a psycho behind it. Not every psycho is a creative force. I almost stepped in it on that one. But so I'm sure Tom was a pain in the ass. I'm sure on tour with Blink, he's like, I could be in Blink-182 where, where I'm just 1/3 of some great thing, or I could do this other stuff over here that is 100% me and 100% my greatness. So I'm sure there's a little bit of egos. I'm sure there was a little bit of, tension in the band as fame and fortune and success has a tendency to go to people's heads. And, I mean, not only that, but Tom just couldn't commit. He could not commit to the band. It's like he's even been quoted as saying, I did not want to quit Blink-182, but I just couldn't find myself able to commit. Well, that's on you, dude. That's your, what are you doing? You built this band up. You made this band what it is, or what people remember it by. I mean, most of people's favorite Blink-182 songs are the Tom songs. So, I mean, it's like you kind of built this band up to what it is, and now you're saying you can't commit to it. So, yes, Tom is a pain in the ass, I'm sure. Don't get that mistaken. But at this point, it's like, if you don't got Tom in the band, I mean, obviously you're just going to keep going, but it's like, in my opinion, I don't think you should. If the original core guys aren't in the band, especially someone as iconic as Tom DeLonge, maybe it's time to not do Blink-182. Maybe do another project. Of course, then you're not going to get the album sales. You're not going to get the record sales. So they're kind of just coasting off the name Blink-182. It's in name only. You're not really getting the Blink-182 sound anymore, and that's why I am not excited for this new tour that they announced with Lil Wayne. And if you feel like there's any chance that they're going to get back to how they used to sound, think again. They just released a new single called Blame It On My Youth, and it sounds just as stupid and formulaic and just full of these pop-punk cliches as everything on California. And let me just say, what youth? What youth are you? Blame it on your youth, Mark Hoppus. You're 47 years old. Matt Skiba, you're 43 years old. Travis Barker, you're 43 years old. What youth? I mean, I don't know. Do whatever you want. I mean, you're clearly getting success, and I'm glad that there's a rock band out there at least that is flying the flag for actually playing instruments still, and that is able to still tour and put asses in seats. I mean, we need all the bands we can at this sad point in music history to at least be out. Even if you're lackluster, at least you're out there making a possible way for other better rock and punk and whatever kind of bands that still play instruments can come through and do. But if I could have one request, I would love to see Tom reunite with Blink-182 and go on tour. I would go just about anywhere to see that lineup, to see that tour. The sad thing is Blink-182 is coming to my city with Lil Wayne, which, by the way, that dude is so fucking annoying. Like, goddamn. If I bought that ticket, I would try to figure out who, when Lil Wayne is playing, and I would, if Blink-182 plays first, I would leave after, or if Lil Wayne's going on first, I would wait to arrive until after he's done. That guy just, some of his songs are alright, but overall he's so goddamn annoying. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to see this tour. I don't care for Matt Skiba as a vocalist. Mark Hoppus cannot carry a band on his vocals alone, and to me, Matt Skiba sounds just like Mark Hoppus. They sound very similar. I don't care for the new songs, and I'm just tired of them traipsing around, flying the Blink-182 banner. That band is not Blink-182 if Tom DeLonge isn't in it. And that's all I really have to say. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.